This is Jason's Electronics. I'm Jason. Welcome to my ER. On this one, we are doing switch number 1009. This is part of the two I bought off of eBay for 90 a piece. The last one, wow, don't even get me started on that one. That one was a nightmare, but we're going to fix it. So let's take a look at this one. This was listed as a bad charging port. So we'll get this set up here and we'll take a look at the charging port underneath the scope. So we'll focus this in. I see some green on those two pins, but nothing on that side. Let's see what pins they are. It looks like the power pins have some green ones. The last one was liquid damaged, pretty nasty. I'm hoping that this one's not liquid damaged. The last one definitely wasn't opened. This one doesn't look opened either. I don't see any tool marks on any of these screws. I don't see any stripped out. So let's go back to the overhead camera here and we will start disassembling this. I am going to use my iFixit drivers here and zoom you guys in a little bit. And I'm going to use my Y00, the Germany one. I don't know why some of these are made in Germany. Well, I'm sorry. One is made in Germany and the rest are made in Thailand. That is an odd. It's like if you buy the sets, they're made in Taiwan, but if you buy the individual drivers, they're made in Germany. I'm not sure. So no memory card. It does have a kickstand. So we need our 00. Oh, that's 000. So we'll get that screw out, hopefully. Or not. Yeah. So we're going to take our center supports out like so. That one's still good. The last one I had a couple strip screws, so you want to make sure that the screw hole is cleared when you remove the screw. It saves you from stripping it out. That one is a non-magnetic screw, and that is correct. These two should be non-magnetic or non-ferrous. If you want to get technical. All right, so there's the screws. Let's see what this nasty thing is. Okay, it's very dusty. I can see that. So it is extremely dusty. Very, very dusty. And if you look in there, and that may or may not be a cat hair. It's definitely a cat hair. Okay, fantastic. Let's hope it's got no other cat parts on it. So continue with the Phillips. We'll take off the memory card. So I'm not seeing any signs of liquid intrusion. Last one had liquid damage real bad over here. So we're going to try to remove all the screws this time. So even if the last one with all the liquid damage is not fixable, it's still, you know, well, maybe not quite worth 90 in parts. That game card reader is shot. So, but donor boards are about 70. So, and the screen and LCD are shot on it. So you use it for a backlight repair. So it could be good, but we'll see how this one is. Like I said, it's very dusty. Overall look of it looks really clean. Water damage has not been tripped. Looks like a really nice, clean console. I have high hopes for this one. What we're going to do is we're going to disconnect this battery. Just for giggles, I want to see what that battery voltage is. Just curious what that battery voltage is. Dead flat. It's got it's completely flat, so So it is dead. I'm assuming M92 is going to be bad on this unit. So let's soak these stickers. Some alcohol. In the hopes of peeling them off without damaging the... You know, the nice thing about these iFixit screwdrivers, other than the fact that they're cheap, makes them nice, is the labeling system on it. I'm a big fan of the labels. So and we'll see if we can get this off. Almost. Nope. Fail. But it's alright. Alright, so definitely not new thermal paste. Let's take off this game card reader. I'm just going to go ahead and take the whole console apart because it needs to be cleaned. So just disassemble the whole console. Carefully remove that. And game card reader is extremely dusty. Take a look at that under the scope in a bit. Let's pull out the fan. Let's get the ribbon. I always take the fan out. Some people don't, but I like to take the fan out. Doesn't take but a second. And this fan is nasty. It's going to have to be cleaned. Yeah, that's gross. So go ahead and take out all the screws and then I'll pull the ribbons. I used to put all my screws in an organized bin, but I kind of know where all the screws go by heart now, which is surprising. You know what? I keep using those tweezers, and it's probably not the right tool. There we go. I have the tool. It's sitting on my bench. Might as well use it. So, these ribbons out. Check the back of the ribbons for corrosion. Nothing on that one. Nothing on that one. Just need to pull the ribbon for the LCD. The ribbon looks good. So I'm going to pull that. I'm going to get my straight forged tweezers. There we go. Got that ribbon out. Do be careful of that. All right, so we got the board out. I'm going to attempt to charge that battery with a board that I know that charges a battery, but we'll do that later. Let's take a look at this under the scope here. Let's focus that. So see what we have here. So we have the Max IC. So overall, the board looks good. It may just very well need a charge port and M92. We'll look at the back of the board here in a second. I have high hopes for this one. BQ looks good. Let's check at this side of the board. Yeah, that port doesn't look good. It just looks real dirty. Let's look at that port again. And I could clean it and test it, but I don't see any touching pins. So I'm going to go ahead and run some tests on the board while I have it out. So I'm going to get M92 and the charge circuit here. we're going to capture, we're going to put the meter in continuity mode first, not diode mode, continuity. So I'm going to start the meter software. And there we go. So I'm going to take my meter and I'm going to test a few things on this board. I'm just going to put my black probe on ground. And this one has diode arrays. I hate diode arrays. So first I'm going to check the fuse. Fuse is good. I'm going to check this filter here. Good. Check it across. Okay, so the diode arrays, I just pull those off. I'll pull those off in a minute. Let's check for shorts here. No short on the P13. No short on that. Nope. No? Oh. Could be a little crisper. This one right here is a dreaded cap to have short. It's not. It's ground. Okay. So no shorts on M92. Let us check BQ. Oh, BQ seems fine. Let's check P13. This is where I get thermal paste all over my clean towel. So P13 cap, it's good. Let's check these filters. Just standard test I do. The port didn't look mangled. Normally I pull that first, but good. 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 Okay, so everything tests okay. So it could be that M92 and P13 and BQ are good, and we just need to change this port. I will rip those diode arrays off. There is a diode array here and a diode array here. Where's it at? Right there. A lot of people are like, oh, I do the diode array. If it doesn't work, nope, I pull them every time because they will troll you. I'm going to get set up to pull this port and those diode arrays. We are back. We are going to pull this port off. I am going to remove this water damage sticker because it's about to get all gnarly from the flux. So we're going to take this off real quick. We'll clean that up later. So I am going to add a bit of fluxy flux to these pins and the ground legs. And I'm going to use no nozzle on this with a pair of ceramic tweezers. Let me show you this here real quick. So I'm using these ceramic tweezers. They're closed tweezers, normally closed tweezers, and I just grab the port and then I can like fiddle with it until it's loose. And I'm using my my quick 861 DW, and I'm going to set my airflow to about 80. And I'm not using a nozzle. I'm just using no nozzle. I'm about to turn on fume extraction. So hopefully that doesn't pick up. And we're going to remove this port. Let the gun heat up. And I believe I set all on 480. 490. So I'm going to grab the port here like so. And I'm just going to heat this up until the solder starts to flow and I feel the port get loose. and that stinks. Heat this up here. Testing to see if the port's moving. Go lift the port off. So there we go. No pulled pads. Let that get sucked up in the fume extractor. So I did melt the holy heck out of that port. Turn my fume extractor down so it doesn't numb my ears. And so there we go, no pulled pads. So this is going to get ready for a new port. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change my iron tip here. Yeah, so that's what it looks like pulled. I'm hoping that I had it on the scope when I pulled that. I don't think I did, but I'm going to change my iron tip to, this is a Hakko 951 station. I have another station, but I'm using this one at the moment. So I'm going to get this big old chisel tip here so I can get into those ground planes and wick that solder out of there. So put that on there, turn my iron on, it's set to 450C. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in there, add some flux, and I'm going to flow in some leaded solder into these holes here. That's ready to go. I'm going to flow in some leaded solder into these holes here. Turn up my fume extractor. Sorting out my solder here. And a little bit more to that, and then I'm going to come in here with my solder wick here. This is Chem wick number 3. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to suck that up like so and burn myself. Just going to clean this last one here. All right, so those holes are cleaned out. I'm going to clean up the board here with a mascara brush. These are disposable brushes sold on Amazon. I'm just going to scrub the port here. Turn that fume extractor down so I can turn that off. So This is why I removed that water damage sticker, because it's just gonna go up there. So I'm gonna dry that with some hot air. Just dry up that alcohol. And I'm gonna turn my station off. Let that cool down because I need to put a different tip on. Here is a bevel tip. So I'm switching to a bevel tip. Yeah, a slightly bigger bevel tip than that one. So I'm going to take this iron off of here. Sure it's pushed in there. I'll turn my station back on. And I'm going to add the lux to this. Now, what I'm going to do is, because these pads can be delicate, I am going to add leaded solder to these pads. And let's turn on the fuel extractor again. So I'm just going to add a little bit of leaded solder to these pads here. A nice circular motion to switch them over to leaded. There we go. Switch those over to leaded. I'm going to try to wick away that little bit of solder that I put on that ground leg. If it'll let me do it with this smaller tip. Yep, it did. So there we go. So now we have that on there. I'm going to get a little bit of alcohol on the cotton bud. Get that goo off of there. All right, I got that cleaned up. Oh, that was awful. A little bit of thermal paste. Thermal paste doesn't go with solder. Cools them down, but it's not good mixed with solder. So let's get that all cleaned off of there. Get that fuzz out of there. So let's get out a USB-C port from my parts box. I sell these on my, you send me an email at jasonselectronicsrepair@gmail.com. You can buy USB ports and other components from me. I'm almost out of M92s, but I have more on the way. So I am going to do the same thing as I did with the old port. I'm going to clean my sticky tweezers first, so that they are not going to stick to the new port. So got those cleaned. And I'm going to grab this port here. I'm going to grab this port with the tweezers, just like I grabbed the other port. And I'm going to hold it in there. And then what I'm going to do is, when I go to this, I'm just going to drop it in there like that and press down when it's time. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to set my air temperature down to 440. I'm going to do 430. And I really don't want to burn this port. I'm going to add a little bit of chip quick flux, because I just like the way that performs better for installs. So add a little bit of chip quick to that. Then I'm going to get ready with my port. Do that so you can see it better. I'm going to come in here, no nozzle, and I'm going to heat this up. I'm going to heat this whole area up here until I see that solder start to melt. So that solder is liquefied. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to drop that port down. Drop the port down there. Get that centered on there. And I'm going to tap it this way a little bit. Oh, too much. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to push it down. Then I'm going to remove the heat. Let that solidify. And then I'm just going to give it a little wiggle. It feels secure. I'm going to turn down my air. And I'm going to flip this around. Actually, I think I can do it like this. And I'm going to test these pins here. That one's a little loose. That one's loose. So this whole side is loose here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more flux to that. So it gets under there. And I'm going to heat that area back up. I don't want to put the direct heat in there. I want to slowly warm the board up so that I don't melt the port. That flux is starting to bubble now. Means that solder is going to be liquid soon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on this board here. I'll hold that down. Let that solidify. All right, so now these pins should be nice and secure. All right, now with this chip quick flux, you want to get it off the board while it's still a little bit warm. So I'm going to come in here with this toothbrush here, and I'm going to scrub it down on both sides. Get that all nice and scrubbed in there. So, all right, now I'm going to let that board cool down. So I'm going to come back when the board's cooled down, and then we're going to test this port and see if we have continuity to all the locations we need continuity to. And then we're going to pull the diode arrays and give it a test. Okay, I'm back. I am going to solder these ground legs here with my Hakko. I'll clean these up later. I just want to check to make sure the port's good. Yeah, we'll clean that up later. Just want to make sure this port's good. So I'm going to take this out, turn this down, take the scope away, move the scope out of my way, reposition my mat here. So I need to just clean up the back of this with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, just to get that little bit of flux off of there. Now what I do is, because I was using flux around this port, I like to take a little bit of contact cleaner. It doesn't have to be WD-40 brand. And then I like to just spray a little bit into the port. And so it doesn't go everywhere, I put it inside a towel. And I like to just get in here and spray that port. All right, so I just like to hit that. I hate this stuff. It's nasty. I wish I could work without it, but it's just full of issues. So clean that up. And then that'll get any of the flux that is in the port out of there. So now, most people would hook a battery up to this to see if it is charging, but that's not how I do it. What I do is I pull up my switch information here, which I did not preload it, and I get my tester out. Get the tester out here. Now these photos are not mine, the ones that I'm loading here, but I am making my own photos so I can post them on the community page. So I have a whole folder of switch data. Let me see if I can find the one I'm looking for here. Okay. Yep, that's the one I'm looking for. So let's bring that one down, and then I need top side. All right, I'll show you what I'm looking at. So here is the top side pin layout for this. So I will put that in the top corner there, and we're going to plug this in, and we are going to test in continuity mode. You're going to hear the beeps. The meter will not be on screen because I didn't think this far ahead. So we are going to check for continuity on these pins here. So continuity mode. So we're going to hear a beep if we have connection. First, we'll check our 4 grounds: ground, 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 and our shield. So all our ground pins are connected. Next thing we want to do is check our data lines. So D plus does not connect to D minus. So D minus is connected. This should be VCon. Yep, this should be CC. Yep, that's all connected. So, oh, and of course the power pins. The 4 V buses. Okay, so that's the 4 power pins. So now if we flip this over, and we go to the other photo here. Yep, we go to that photo. And we flip our board over here. So there we go. And that port's nice and clean. So now we need to just touch these filters here. So I will go to the top of the filter, because it also lets me know the filter is good. So this one should be, is it RX1? Yeah, these are, no. S bus 1 and S bus 2. So S bus 1, S bus 2, okay, and then the next filter here, this one is RX2 and RX1, so negative first. I can't see, so I have to bring in the scope so I can make sure I'm touching the pin there. So I see if I can put that on the screen too, and you can see what I'm touching. If I move this out of the way over here, I can get that on P13. You can probably see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's go to this filter here was negative, and then this one here, it's got some goop on it. It's not connecting, so let's check it on the other side of the filter here. This pin may not be connected. So, as you can see, my RX positive is not connected, but my negative is. So I want to find out where that is, but let's check to see if we have any other pin issues. So this one is TX2 negative. This one is TX2 positive. This one is, I gotta get these down memorized. So TX1 negative, TX2 positive, or TX1 positive, I'm sorry, and then this is the RX. So RX negative, RX positive. So why is that one pin, and where is that pin located on the, so let's take that off, Let's find out what pin that is. And then, so that was RX2, A11. That's a top row pin. So let's take a look under the scope here and see if any of those pins look a little not connected. So we'll zoom in here. So they do look a little bit on the crooked side. Let's see if A11 is not connected. That one's good. Solid in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's saying it's this pin. That pin is solid on there. I'm not sure why that pin is saying that it's not connected. focus this here. So you couldn't see anything I just did. So, but I just checked these pins here and none of them moved. I have issues with switching the camera on this video. That last switch has me flustered, but right here, this is pin 11 right here, and it's anchored down. So, you know, some of these are a little off, but it's telling me pin 11 is not connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this board back in, and I'm going to click on A11 here. I'm going to hold on to A11, and I'm going to connect it to pin. So, yep, that is connected. So why are we not getting continuity through that filter? So this one is A10. Oh. So let's just check the fourth one down here. All right, well, I don't know why I'm not getting connection on that. So I'm just going to test this and see if it works. First, I'm going to see if it will charge a battery before I put it back in the housing. I don't know if my board is messed up because everything seems to be okay. So I'm going to plug in a test battery, and I'm going to plug in this charger. And it's drawing 200, 300. So it is charging, and it went to go boot. So that's good. Let's check it this way. Nope, it's going to register it. So same difference. It's charging. So, all right. So there we go. So that is charging. So let's see if we get image on the screen. I'm going to pause 1 minute to clean up this mat before I go putting switch screens on it. So hold on. Okay, we're back here. I'm going to zoom out because I should have did that earlier. And I'm going to put down my chamois cloth here. I don't want to have to change this digitizer because it's all scratched up. So we're going to get the case out of here. And we are going to hook this up. I don't know if the customer's battery is any good, but I'm not going to hook up anything else but the screen and... Sorry, that was dirty. It bugged me. I'm not going to hook up anything else but the screen and the backlight and the power button. So I'm going to insert, I'm going to make sure my latch is up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out like so, just the ribbon cable a little bit, and then I'm going to slide the ribbon cable in until it's seated, and then I'm going to lock it down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, see how I got the board slightly on an angle there? I'm going to come up underneath the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, just like so, and I'm going to lift it up, get my speaker cable out, my battery. I normally pull the speakers out so I don't have to deal with it. And then I'm just going to tuck it in there just like that. And now I'm going to get my ribbons here. I'm going to get my power button. I'm going to get my backlight ribbon here. Backlight ribbon. All my ribbons. Now I'm going to put a screw in this. Just one motherboard screw. That's how I do it. A lot of people just do it, just test it without putting a screw in it, but I like to put a motherboard screw in up here. So we are good to go. And I'm not going to put a charge port screw in. So I'm going to plug in the customer's battery because I want to see if it's charging the battery. And then first, I'm going to take that back out. And I'm going to hook up the power button. So I'm getting ahead of myself on the test I want to run. This may not even work. And we're going to hook up the backlight. So, all right. So now we're going to plug in the custom. Let me just get this ribbon out just in case. There we go. So, just get that out. All right. So we're going to connect the battery to it. We're going to come over here and we're going to plug this in. It's going to fire up. It's drawing a slow charge current. We have the charging symbol on the screen. And I am going to let that charge until it boots up. So, yeah. So this could be fixed. Let's just flip this around and make sure it charges on the other side. We just get the charging symbol. Yep, we got the charging symbol. So this one looks like it may have just been a port. So it needs to be tested. I need to figure out if that RX pin is good or bad. So I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it charged so it turns on. Make sure everything works that way, and then I'll test docking and see if it's that line is on the docking line, and if it is, we'll diagnose it further. But we're gonna want to get this to turn on. Put my screwdriver back. I'm gonna, yeah. So it's at very slow charge. If I flip this over and I put my meter in volts mode, we can check to see if the battery is charging. So let's put this on here. So we have 2.8 volts climbing slowly, 2.81, 2.82. So it is charging the switch. What is this coil reading? 3.22 volts. So it is slow charging. What I got right here on this test point. 2.8, so I got battery voltage there. Okay, so I got a cool experiment coming up. I have a switch that's charging missing max ICs, the CPU, and I want to see if I get pass-through battery voltage when I remove BQ. It's an experiment that I want to do, so I am going to stop here. I'm going to let this charge up till it turns on, then I'm going to come back on this video. Okay, we are back. We are drawing 612 milliamps. So this should turn on. Yay, it turns on. 3% battery life. I have no touch. Oh no, I have no touch. No, I didn't hook up touch yet. So this turns on. All it needed was a charge port. I'm going to get it assembled the rest of the way, get touch working, fully charge it, and run it through a litany of tests and put it up for sale on my eBay store. So I'll be back with the reassembly and with it reassembled and for testing. Okay, so I got it semi-reassembled. I got the Touch ID. I got Touch working. I got the Joy-Con rails so we can test all that. I didn't put the heatsink on yet because I want to make sure everything works. I want to make sure it docks before I do that. I can't test the docking out here. I have to use that in the room. I will have dock on the. So it rebooted, it's going to boot up. I will get a dock out here eventually. Yep, we have touch. Let's see if it picks up Wi-Fi. Internet. Searching for networks. That must be all the ones that. All right, let me get this off camera here so I can connect to the internet. You know, there's always an alarm on my videos. Okay, so that should connect. I'm not like some people and give out my code. So, all right, let's go back. So that connects to the internet. We could go on YouTube. Well, this has got, you know, it's got a variety of games on there. Wow, a lot of games. So I don't know what is on here for cloud or not. We'll test a game in it later. I might do all that off camera. It's at 17%, so it is charging. It is charging both sides. So this one is a successful fix, and it will be on the eBay store in the link in the description. And it is a version 1 unpatched unit, so that's always a plus. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. You can become a member to the channel to support the channel. You can also visit my Patreon where I teach basic electronics and troubleshooting. Thank you so much and have a fantastic